it's Jennifer here. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, today is going to be a meal prep video. I am going to meal prep panko breaded pork chops in the air fryer, and along with that we're going to have baked sweet potatoes and roasted Brussels sprouts that I'm going to do in the oven. And then I'm also going to do Kung Pao Chicken with fried cauliflower rice, which is delicious and very low in points, and some stir-fry vegetables with that. Whenever we eat that meal, we will have a spring roll and a couple of pot stickers, and that is kind of where we will spend our points, because I think that meal comes out to just be a 1 point meal or so. So very low in points and probably low in carbs too if you are following a low carb diet, since I use the cauliflower instead of real rice. And with the fried rice packet that I use, you cannot tell the difference. I promise you. My husband eats it, he loves it, it is delicious, it is worth trying. What else am I making? So I'm going to make my chocolate protein cookies, of course. I've eaten all of those this week, and then I will make my breakfast for the week and prep my fruit bowls. I have a sandwich that I take to lunch, usually Monday through Thursday. On Fridays I always just make one of my 4-point pizzas, and I have fruit with the non-fat Greek yogurt as a side for that. And I do not mix anything into that non-fat Greek yogurt. I've gotten asked that question a few times. I know that it is kind of tart or bitter or whatever if you eat it by itself, but if you dip the fruit in it, I promise you it's good, and it's 0 points. So I don't really see that you need to add something into it to make it taste good. You could probably add some like sugar-free Jell-O, cheesecake flavoring or something if you really wanted to give it a little bit of taste, and still try to keep it 0 points if you just put a little bit in there. But anyway, that is what is on the agenda today. If you are new here, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. I would love to have you join me and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any time that I upload. I upload 3 times per week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and on Sundays typically. And also follow me over on Instagram, where I, post daily and post stories and stuff like that, and feel like I can interact better with y'all and really get to know you. And if you have any comments, please leave them down below. I love to comment back and forth with everyone and interact. And that's the coolest thing about YouTube and Instagram I have found out, is all of the people that I have gotten to know all over the world. So I love you guys, and let's get into the video. Okay guys, I am getting ready to get ready, and Charlie is going to do his prep work while I am taking a shower. We have chicken. He's going to dice this up. We are doing Kung Pao chicken. He won't use all, I think there's 6 chicken breasts here. There's 2 packs. Publix had these buy one, get one free. So he will use either 4 or 5 of them. The other one he will just trim up and put in the freezer, and we will use that later, probably for some taco soup or something. Of course, he would do my pineapple and my cantaloupe as normal, and slice up my little tomato for my sandwiches. We are having Brussels sprouts this week, so he's pretty much just going to cut those in half and, cut the ends off of them or whatever. These are already clean. They are in this microwavable bag, but I've got these before and used them. They are great just to roast in the oven or in the air fryer. Today I am roasting them in the oven. And then my bell peppers will just be diced up. So he really doesn't have a whole lot of prep work today. I'm going to head to the shower, and you will see Charlie getting everything prepped. The only other fruit is the blueberries, and I always like to do those myself just because I'm particular about it. Let's roll into Charlie doing his prep.
From my window, sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon, Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on, all the way baritone. Yeah. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing. You don't know how much I want you. Just looking at you makes my whole world spin. can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon. Kenny G saxophone.
Okay guys, I have my blueberries over here soaking in the distilled white vinegar. As y'all know I like to do. I need to pick up some more of that next week. That is getting a little bit low. I'm going to let those soak for a few minutes and then rinse those 2 or 3 times really well. They do not taste like vinegar. Charlie prepped the cantaloupe and the pineapple. He's chopped up my Brussels sprouts for me and also diced up my bell peppers. One thing I forgot to show earlier is we are having baked sweet potatoes, which these kind of look a little sketch. I hope that they are okay on the inside. This was with the Publix Instacart, so you know they don't always pick the prettiest things. But anyway, he has washed those good and we are just going to bake those in the microwave. This will be roasted in the oven. I'm going to throw together my fruit bowls real quick. Oh, he did slice my tomato as well for my sandwiches this week. That is good to go. So I'm going to finish up my blueberries and then we are going to make some fruit bowls and then get started. Probably do the pork chops and stuff first because that's going to take a few batches. And then I will do the Kung Pao Chicken. And Nico, you are not going to be up here bothering me all day. Get down, Nico. This cat, y'all. I swear, he's just like a little destroyer. He is into everything. He insists on sitting in this window, knocking stuff over. Nico? You're getting down. Okay guys, so I'm quickly going to throw together my fruit bowls. As usual, I have my pineapple, my cantaloupe, and my blueberries. They're still kind of drying a little bit. I will put those in last. And let's get it done real quick because it's almost lunchtime. Y'all know I want to make one of my pizzas for lunch. So I have my oven preheating if it happens to beep or something. So I'm going to throw these together and then eat lunch, and then we will get started cooking everything else. Hey guys, here is my prepped fruit and yogurt for the week, and also my diced bell peppers for my eggs and pizzas and stuff like that. And I'm going to get this in the refrigerator. My oven just preheated and it is lunchtime, so we are going to make ourselves some of my 4-point pizzas. Well, mine will be 4 points. Charlie's I'm sure won't be 4 points, but that's what we're going to have for lunch. And then I still have one more fruit bowl left from last week, so I will finish that up and be able to put in all fresh fruit for this next week. And anyway, I try not to let anything go to waste. I mean, I will eat it until it's really got to be rotten for me to throw it out. But luckily, everything so far seems to stay pretty fresh all 7 days. So I haven't had any issues. But I just try to buy exactly what I need for the week and no more. Okay guys, I am ready to start on the panko breaded pork chops that I'm going to do in the Ninja Foodie using the air fryer function on it. And this is a Skinnytaste recipe. This is the same recipe that I used the last time that I made this. So I have measured out 32 ounces of pork chops, which is 12 of these really thin sliced ones. The packages that I bought had 18 pieces in it, so we just froze the other 6 pieces because we don't need more than 2. I just like them because they're thin, and so 2 will be the perfect serving. This comes out to 4 points the way that I did the recipe because I think I doubled up on the breadcrumbs. Okay, so the recipe calls for olive oil spray. So I have olive oil spray here. It calls for 6 thick pork chops, but I've got 12 thin ones here instead. And we did weigh these out. It calls for 1 large egg, but I'm going to use 2 because I'm kind of having to bread more since I have the thin ones. And eggs are 0 points. It calls for half a cup of panko breadcrumbs and 1/3 of a cup of crushed cornflakes. I don't have cornflakes. I'm not going to buy cornflakes just to make this recipe, so I'm just going to use 1 cup of plain breadcrumbs and 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, and I am just going to leave that at 2 tablespoons. That will be fine. And then salt and pepper, of course, which I will just get from here. And then it calls for, and I'm going to double these probably. It calls for 1 1/4 teaspoons of paprika, which it says sweet paprika. I only have one that says ground, but we're just going to go with it. I mean, it's 1 1/4 teaspoons. I'll probably put 2 teaspoons. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'll just do 1. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. I'll do 1 teaspoon. 1/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder. I'll do half a teaspoon of that. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So I'll probably just do like half a teaspoon of black pepper as well. And I think it says kosher salt. I'm just going to use my normal sea salt that I have here and season them up that way. So I have 2 plates here. One is going to be for the egg mixture, and then one is going to be for the breadcrumbs and stuff. And then I will put them in the foodie. This is not that big on the inside. That would probably be my only complaint about the Ninja Foodie. So I think I can only fit like 4 in here at a time, which means that we're making 12 of them. So we'll have to do it either in 3 or 4 batches. It depends on if we can fit 3 or 4 in. But I think, if I remember correctly, it only takes about 12 minutes for them to cook all the way through. So anyway, I'm going to get started on these, and then we will put the Brussels sprouts in the oven. Okay guys, hopefully you can see right there. Okay, I have my 2 eggs over here in the bowl, and then I'm just going to mix up my breadcrumbs and seasonings. And like I said, I'm going to just use 1 cup of the panko breadcrumbs. Okay, so I have 1 cup of the panko breadcrumbs, and then we're going to go ahead and mix everything else together. So we need the Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of this. There's 1, 2, and then the paprika. We're just going to do 2 teaspoons. And we're going to do a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion, and half a teaspoon of chili. Then it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. We're just going to go ahead and do 1/2 of a teaspoon since we're kind of doubling everything. And it calls for, it says to go ahead and season your pork chops with the salt, which I've already done. But then it calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm just going to add a little bit in there. And then we're just going to mix this up well. And we're going to coat the pork chops in the egg mixture, and then in this, and then get it in the air fryer. And I have another plate over here. What I'm going to do is kind of get the first 3 or 4 going, and then I will just let the other ones sit and wait while we swap them out. We'll move over a little bit and go in the egg mixture, and then in the breadcrumbs real good, and then straight in here. I'm hoping I can fit 4 in at a time. Okay, that's perfect. 4 is barely going to fit in there. Let me rinse my hands off and then we'll spray it and get those going. So it says to just spritz the top with oil and to cook for 12 minutes, which I think is what we did the last time. So I'm just going to put it on air crisp. 390 I think is good. And I'm going to lower it to 12. I'm going to try to keep an eye on it and turn them in 6 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these ready and just place them on this plate so that they will be ready whenever we swap them out. Okay, that is all cleaned up now. Sorry, I always love to spray my counters off and clean everything up just to be sanitary. So these will just sit. These are already down to 5 minutes. Actually, let's just look at them real quick and see how they're looking halfway through. Let me get my tongs. They're looking okay. They may have to stay more than 12 minutes. We'll see. I'm not going to flip them yet. Maybe it's 20 minutes. Okay guys, so for the Brussels sprouts, Charlie's already cut these in half and everything, and we are just going to go in and spray them heavily with some extra virgin olive oil spray, and then we're going to season them up really well. And we're just going to go in with some salt, and I'm probably going to do this a couple of times, and some pepper. And then I've got an array of seasonings over here. We're going to do some garlic salt. Some garlic powder too, I guess. I pulled them both out. I'll go ahead and use them. You can't have too much. You really want to try to cover up that taste of the Brussels sprouts, especially if that's not your favorite taste, and the garlic really helps. We're going to do just a little bit of onion powder. Some ground cumin, of course, and some chili powder. And that's really just to give them that spiciness that I like. You know, I actually forgot. I normally use avocado spray for this. Let me grab that. Yeah, so I like to use the avocado oil spray. I mean, not that it's a big deal that I mean, you can use the olive oil instead of avocado oil, but there's something about the way this tastes and coats the Brussels sprouts. And just a dash of our other seasonings. A bit more cumin, a bit of onion powder, garlic powder, and some more garlic salt. And a dash of chili powder. And then I'm going to spray them really well, and then we're going to get a baking sheet and put them in the oven at 400 degrees. I'll probably start at 30 minutes and then stir them and see how much longer they need. See, that does look perfect. And I do like to heavily season these because the actual taste of the Brussels sprout is not my favorite. But when you season them up good and roast them in the oven, they're so good. Alright, let me clean this up and grab my baking sheet. Okay guys, here are the Brussels sprouts. They look delicious. We're just going to put them on the pan. I did line it with aluminum foil, and I gave it a little spritz with the avocado oil. And I'm just going to try to spread these out as thin as I can. And we're going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees for at least 30 minutes. We'll see what they look like then. Okay, so here is our first batch of pork chops out of the air fryer. I think that they turned out perfect. I ended up leaving them in for 15 minutes just because I do like them to have that nice little singe on them, and they just wasn't quite crispy enough at 12 minutes. So 15 minutes for these today. I'm going to do the second batch at 15 minutes, and hopefully they turn out just as good. Okay, I am ready to get started on the Kung Pao chicken. I have this chicken breast here that Charlie has already diced up into little bite-sized pieces. I'm just going to season that up with salt and pepper and get it cooking in the skillet, and then I will add in some chili powder and ground cumin, and then I will add in the Kung Pao sauce at the end, which the Kung Pao sauce, I think I end up using 14 tablespoons, which is 7 servings of this. And I'll put most of it on the chicken, and I will reserve a little bit and put on the vegetables as well. And then I do mix those together at the end, I think. Okay, that's what I do. I mix the vegetables and then I do the cauliflower rice separate. For that, I am going to use 3 bags of the riced cauliflower, and then you're going to need soy sauce, an egg, and the fried rice packet, and some of that minced garlic, which I forgot to get that out of the refrigerator. I will grab that. But I'm going to put that on last. I'm going to actually get these vegetables started because these are frozen. I'm going to put them in that skillet there, and I'm not using the sauce pouches that are inside, obviously, or else that will add points. And I'm going to try to pull out the baby corns if I can, because we just don't like those and could not find one without that at Walmart. So anyway, this is going to be our veggies, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get our veggies going. I'm just going to spray that, and we're just going to go. Alright, so we're just going to add a little salt and pepper and put the lid on this and let these soften up, and then once the chicken and stuff is done, we will mix it together. Okay, now for the chicken, I just sprayed the pan. I'm going to salt and pepper the chicken and then put it in and salt and pepper the other side as well. Again, season to your taste. We do like a lot of salt and pepper. And that is just a pro tip that I have if you're eating a lot of really low-fat foods that doesn't have a lot of flavor. Season it, and it will be good. More salt and pepper, and we're just going to kind of let that get going a little bit. We're going to get started on the cauliflower rice. It's pretty much on the cauliflower rice. I'm going to put it in and salt and pepper it until it gets tender, and then we will add in the soy sauce and the garlic and everything else after that. And one thing that I do before I put these in, I do kind of break them up because sometimes they can kind of be in hard clumps. But let's get this in. This chicken's going to get loud here in a second. And do some salt and some pepper. Ready to start putting things into the cauliflower rice, so I went ahead and put an egg in the bowl just so that I have it ready, and then I'm going to measure out 4 tablespoons of the soy sauce, which 1 tablespoon is 15 milliliters, so I'm going to need, what, 60 milliliters? And that will be 4 tablespoons. And then I'm going to measure out my Kung Pao sauce. I need 14 tablespoons of that, which 2 tablespoons is 35 grams, so I need 35 times 7. So I need 245 grams. So I'm just going to switch that to grams. Of course, I missed it. And this is an old bottle that I had in the refrigerator. I don't think I have 245 in here. We'll see. No, that's only in 148. I'm going to kind of turn that over in case I can get a little bit more out of it. 247, almost perfect. So we've got that measured out, we've got the egg ready, we have the soy sauce ready, and we've got the garlic. So we are going to go ahead and add in the seasoning packet. The garlic, for the garlic I just need a teaspoon. My chicken's almost done too. Everything's kind of getting done at the same time, so I turned it down. I did want it to brown a little bit, but it's getting done. Might need to turn it back up a little bit. So we're going to go in with a good sized teaspoon of that. And we're going to add in this seasoning packet. And then I'm going to mix this up and let it cook a little bit. And then we'll kind of push it to the side and scramble the egg. Oh, you can't even see that. I'm going to mix this up and then we will push it to the side and scramble the egg and get that mixed in there. And it will taste just like fried rice. Okay, so I pushed all of my fried rice over to one side, if you can see that. Let me zoom you in a little. And I am going to turn the temperature up so that this egg will cook quickly. And we're just going to pour it there and just kind of scramble it like you would a normal egg. And then we will mix it in with the cauliflower. And it doesn't matter if a little bit of the cauliflower gets in it, it's fine. Going to get mixed together anyway. And you can use fresh cauliflower with this and rice it up yourself. You probably don't even have to put the egg in. It just kind of gives it that authentic fried rice feeling like you get if you go to the Japanese restaurant. You know how they do whenever they cook it in front of you. But if you don't eat eggs, you could leave this out. I don't think that it would change the taste that much. So now that's kind of scrambled up, we are just going to mix it all together. I'm going to turn the heat back down. Actually, I think I'm going to cut it off because it's pretty much done. The veggies are pretty much done. They are a little watery. So what I like to do is drain that off. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of my seasonings for my chicken. And actually, I'm going to drain the water off of it as well. So now on the chicken, we're just going to go in with some of the ground cumin. The more you add, the spicier it will be. So if you don't want it spicy, don't add that much. And then we're going to go in with some chili powder as well. I'm just going to kind of let that chicken brown a little bit, and then we're going to add in the Kung Pao sauce. And I just like to reserve a little bit of the Kung Pao sauce. What I'm going to do is mix this in with the vegetables, and then we'll add the rest of the Kung Pao sauce. And that's all there is to it. That gets that mixed up really well. Gets that sauce on all of the veggies, all of the chicken. And we will be ready to plate this up. I'm just going to let it sit here for a couple of minutes and simmer. And this comes out to 2 points per serving if you're on the blue plan. If you're on the green plan, you would have to count your chicken. I'm not sure how much that would be. You would definitely want to measure your chicken. But for blue and purple, 2 points. I'm ready to go ahead and plate up the Kung Pao chicken and the Asian fried rice, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to measure it out perfectly because it is such a low point meal. Again, this comes out to 2 points, so we are just going to do it as evenly as possible. Okay, so I'm going to actually replate the Kung Pao chicken. I forgot, I like to put the rice in the bottom and keep this side empty for our spring roll and our pot stickers that we will have with it. So I just dumped that back in there. We're going to do the rice and then put it back in again. Alright guys, here is the completed Kung Pao chicken with the cauliflower fried rice on the bottom. I did replate that because I remembered that we like to keep this side of the containers empty because we will make a spring roll and have 2 pot stickers on the night that we have this meal. And then this is the perfect little side to put those in, and we just heat them up and eat it straight out of these containers. Anyway, they look perfect. It tastes good. I tasted it. Chicken's good. Rice is good. This is a nice hearty meal. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, it is heavy. So if you want something filling and low points, try this. It's worth it if you like Asian food, and I do. I'm going to go ahead now and plate up my pork chops, sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. Those are done as well. Okay guys, I just wanted to take a second and show you the Brussels sprouts. They are perfect. These are so good. They're soft and tender and yet crispy on the outside. Nice and seasoned. And then we have our 6 sweet potatoes, which the way that we rewarm those is I usually just warm them for 3 minutes in the microwave on the nights that I eat them. You could wait and just bake them on that night, but I like to just go ahead and pre-bake them. They're already softened up and then we just warm them. And then here are our nice crispy boneless pork chops and they look perfect. I think that this is going to be another delicious meal. I'm going to probably count this as like a 10-point meal. The pork chops is going to be 4 points per serving, and the potatoes are probably about 6 ounces or whatever each, and then the Brussels sprouts will be 0. But I'm going to count it as 10 points. So let's get this plated up too. Okay, so to plate these up, I think that these will fit okay like this in the container if I can get that apart. I just put the sweet potato in here, and then 2 of the pork chops is going to be a serving, and then I will fill the ends with the Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to go through and see if these potatoes will fit to where the lids will close, and I think they will. Which normally that doesn't happen, but these aren't the biggest sweet potatoes in the world. They're actually the perfect size. So now we may take them out and heat them separately because I don't think the pork chops and the Brussels sprouts will need to be heated as long as them. So we will see. Okay guys, here is the completed pork chops, sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. And y'all, this meal's gonna be delicious. I can't stop eating these Brussels sprouts. I know this is good. We've had it before. I can't remember exactly what combination we had before. We might have made like diced yellow potatoes the last time that we made the pork chops, but I was feeling the sweet potatoes this week and thought we would just do baked sweet potatoes. The way I like to eat mine is to use some of that spray butter and cinnamon in them. It looks great. I cannot wait to eat this. Both meals are delicious and hearty meals this week. This one's a 10-point meal. The other one, I can't remember what it comes out to. 2 for the meal, and then plus whatever for the pot stickers and the spring rolls. Anyway, we're going to be full this week. We are going to make our chocolate peanut butter protein cookies. I'm going to start with 1 scoop of the PE Science Select and the frosted chocolate cupcake. And this is my brand new container that I just got, so we are nice and full. And then we're going in with 1 scoop of the Matrix peanut butter cookie. A lot of people have asked me if they can use the PB2 in place of this, and I think that you can. I have personally never tried it, but some people have. And a lot of people ask me what the grams is on the scoop of this, and it is 36 grams for a scoop of this. But you would definitely want to plug that into your recipe builder just to see how the points would change. So a scoop of each of those, and then I'm going to do 10 grams of the Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa. And then I'm going to go in with about 5 grams of the Jell-O sugar-free chocolate fudge pudding mix. And then we're going to do a tablespoon of baking powder. And then I'm going to, let me tilt you down a little. I'm going to just mix the dry ingredients well. And then you want to use half a can of 100% pure pumpkin. This is my other half left from last week. So it should be a little over 200 grams. There we go. Perfect. That's 218 grams. And then I'm going to go in with 100 grams of egg whites. And then I will add more if needed. And then I'm just going to mix that up until I see how the consistency is. So it's pretty good. You know, I got to go in with 1 more little splash just to thin it up a little bit. See, to me that's perfect. Now we're going to go in with 14 grams of the Lily's dark chocolate chip. And I'm just going to mix those in, and then we will be ready to get those on our baking sheet. Alright, I'm just going to spray my baking sheet with this baker's spray and divide it into 12 cookies. These are ready to go into the oven for 9 minutes, and I have it preheated to 350 degrees. Alright guys, here are the cookies fresh out of the oven. They look perfect again. They will kind of set and flatten out. I know I always say that, but just so you know. And I will just store these in the refrigerator and warm them up for 30 seconds whenever I eat them. They look perfect. Okay guys, here is my completed meal prep. We have the Kung Pao Chicken with the cauliflower fried rice over here in these 6 containers. And then I have my Panko breaded pork chops, our baked sweet potato, and our roasted Brussels sprouts in these 6 containers. I have 7 containers of fruit and yogurt back there for my lunches all week. And then I also made my scrambled eggs for breakfast for Monday through Friday. And I have my 10 strips of bacon here, and of course my chocolate protein cookies for dessert. So overall, I think this was another successful meal prep. It looks, and I know everything's delicious. Of course, you know, I had to like nibble a little bit here and there and try it. Very pleased with this, excited to eat this food this week, and now I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat all week. We already know. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank y'all for joining me for my Sunday meal prep video again this week. I hope that you got some good ideas, and let me know down in the comments below if you try any of these recipes. Again, it just helps us out so much to go ahead and have all of our meals prepped for the week, and then we literally don't have to think about what we're going to eat every night, and it just makes it so much easier. I pretty much know what my points are going to be every day. I eat the same breakfast, I eat the same lunches, I eat the same snacks. Pretty boring, I know, but it is what it is, and so far it has worked for me, and I think that it could help you too. If you get into meal prepping, then you'll wonder how you ever lived without doing it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you are new here, I would love it if you would join my channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any time that I upload. I upload 3 times per week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and on Sundays. And thanks guys, I will see y'all in the next video.